Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 12th Justin and Tyler Movie Awards, and it is now time. The top 30 best movies of 2025. So, my honorable mentions for 2025, I have 5 of them, which is a little bit more than I've had in years past. Usually I have like 2. So I got a couple more this year, which is nice. My honorable mentions in 2025 are 28 Years Later,
Okay.
Caught Stealing,
Oh, you didn't love that one either.
Last Breath,
I don't remember. I know them. I remember the name. I don't remember what movie that is.
The Naked Gun, and Vulcan Isadora.
Only an honorable mention
Only
on one
an
of the few
honorable
movies
mention.
where he was like, "Watch this."
Exactly. Yeah. Ultimately, it just kind of fell off a little bit there at the end of the year where it was so backloaded. So, I'm just going to talk about these very briefly from my perspectives. 28 Years Later, which is the one that I think I was so close to putting this on, I expected more.
Yes.
Because I have so much love for that franchise, especially the first movie. Second movie I still thought was good, but that first movie, man. I love 28 Days Later so much. What made the first 2, especially the first one, so successful for me is the kind of grit and believability of it, and like the lengths that they went to in creating that movie to make it feel gritty and believable. And with 28 Years Later, my problem is they replaced a lot of that with dank zombie kill cams, which I didn't even hate those, but I'm just like, by the time the 4th or 5th one happens, where it's just like Call of Duty kill cams.
Yes, I remember. Yes, I hated that.
Okay, so you hated it. I was just like, okay.
I hated that.
Like, I don't hate this, but I'm like, I don't want this in my 28 Days Later movie. Like, I'm obviously gonna see the one that's just about to come out here, the follow-up in a couple of weeks. The Bone...
is it Temple? No.
Bone Temple. I think it is Bone Temple. So, like, that comes out in a couple of weeks. I'm obviously gonna see it. Like, this didn't torpedo the franchise to the degree that I'm not gonna watch it. I'm certainly gonna watch it. But, it just... the fact that that's not on my top 30 is, like, hurts me on the inside.
I'm also really sad for you because I know how much you love the first 2 movies.
Caught Stealing, I'm not going to say a ton about. I just love Austin Butler. I'll pretty well put him on the marquee, and I'm gonna go watch it because I just think he's so talented. Go Giants! It's a very conventional story, I think, told in somewhat of an unconventional way. So yeah. I dug it. I didn't love it, but I dug it, and I dig Austin Butler in general. So Last Breath it's a dramatic remake of a documentary about a deep sea diver who gets caught underwater and I think goes like a half hour or something without oxygen and somehow survives.
Crazy.
It's unreal. And it's like when you're filming something underwater, like you kind of it gives like the atmosphere is kind of there for you by default.
Yeah.
I just loved, it was Simu Liu is in that movie, and then it's Woody Harrelson. And I like both of those guys. Like, I like both of those castings. And it got its tone and it got its atmosphere right. It was one of the surprises of the year for me, because I knew, like, I liked the premise, so I'm like, I'm going to watch this.
Yeah.
But the fact that actually makes honorable mention for one of the best of the year was a pleasant surprise for me. Kind of the same with The Naked Gun. I knew I was going to enjoy it, but I'm thinking, like, how much am I going to enjoy? Like, you run the risk with movies like that of, like, is everything funny about this movie in the trailer, right? Cody Rhodes plays bartender, and he's talking about, like, you killed my brother in cold blood, and he's like, that could literally be thousands, or you shot my brother in cold blood. He's like, that could be thousands of people. You killed him. Hundreds. Shot him in the back as he ran away. At least a dozen. He's like, he was white. And then he goes, you're Tony Robbins' brother, or whoever. Like it's the only white guy he's ever shot in the back. And again, there's the joke about how, Liam Neeson isn't Leslie Nielsen, but I'm ting. I I just really liked him, and I really liked this vision for the movie. Paul Walter Hauser as the kind of side character there as well. So it's just a movie that I enjoyed more, I think, than I was expecting to. And Vulcan Isadora is the story of two edgelords, one of which has like a Batista tattoo on his neck, and the other one with a really unfortunate hairline.
Yeah.
And they go into the woods and they proceed to have like Seinfeld dialogue about lost car keys and Pop-Tarts or whatever the hell they were talking about. And it sounds like the movie sucks based on that. It's one of those ones where it's just like, I wanted to like this, so I found the path of least resistance to liking it, I guess. You know, it mines some dark territory, and it explores things like, you know, male loneliness and like where like depression and stuff can come from, and I know you talked about which character was it that never shuts up?
I can't remember if it's Marty or Derek.
I feel like it's Derek. So I think
like at the beginning, like it was just he just kept talking, and I was like, oh my god.
Marty's the guy that's just like, can we just shut up and get this over with, kind of thing, and because it doesn't swing on you immediately why they're in the woods.
Yeah.
But then once it does, it's like, oh damn.
Yeah. I like that aspect of the movie.
Yeah. It's not without its issues, but it hung on for me as an honorable mention. I enjoyed it more immediately after the watch than I did subsequently. Like it didn't I guess age well with me as it went. While he's kind of looking at that, the only other thing I wanted to say I think about Vulcan Isadora maybe is it's intentionally amateurish in the way that it's shot. Like I feel like maybe I have a soft spot for movies that it looks like you and I could make.
Yeah.
Like, that's a movie that I feel like you and I could make.
I'm just gonna glance at my phone while I say this. I just want to talk about Vulcan Isadora a little bit, because I thought I gave it like a 6 out of 10, but apparently I gave it a 4 out of 10.
Alright.
There's like a part of me that appreciates this. Like, I like how militant it is in doing what it wants to do. Which is put you in the shoes of two people who are on the way to kill themselves. Or kill each other, whatever. The Tarkovsky fan of me appreciates long, lingering shots. But I think in order to do that, you also have to have compelling shots, and I don't really think it does that.
Right.
The guy who played Marty was effective, and I know Joel Potrikis or whatever does triple duty, and I think you would even mention he's like an indie darling.
Yes.
People like him. I'm not familiar with him outside of that. I can appreciate the work required for indie filmmakers. Kind of like something you said where it's like a soft spot for things that looks like something we could film. I get that. I found it boring and hollow. At first I was kind of intrigued by what this dangerous pact was, but then it became pretty obvious early on. And when Marty says just say it and he doesn't, it kind of feels pointless. Yeah, and it just doesn't have... I just don't think the characters were compelling, so I didn't really care about, like, the focus on, like, their misery.
Right.
And you could, like, trim some shots, add some intriguing dialogue, and I would have liked it more. I will say this one thing. I had this, like, lengthy rant on Criticker about the genres. I was like, I looked at a few major sources for what the genres fell into, and drama is the right one in my eyes.
Right.
Like, Criticker has it as a drama.
But some listed as a horror.
Yeah, and I said, could it be classified as a horror? Man, there's like one scene, which is a great scene, where the tragic turn happens, and that's dark, but horror? And I'm like, comedy? Like, I suppose. Is this what comedy is? Like the genres were just all over the place, which actually made it, before I saw it, sound more interesting. Like, what are they doing here? But I'm like, this is not, like, maybe a comedy. Comedy's subjective, but, like, drama's the play here, right?
I think
like a dark drama.
Yeah, I think it's humorous if you like Seinfeld dialogue.
Yeah.
Because again, like, where they're talking about, like, car keys, potato chips, crotch rockets.
Yeah.
There's nudie magazines out in the woods. Like, it almost feels like if you like kind of like sitcom premises and Seinfeld dialogue, then you'll find a lot of comedy in it.
Alright, so my honorable mention, I'm not going to go too into detail. I originally had 5 and then I made it 6, but I'm going to chop it back down to 5.
Alright.
So I'm going to leave one out. Ooh, mystery. My honorable mention, The Threesome, The Roses, Captain America Brave New World, Mickey 17, and this was funny enough, the one I originally made 6. And it took a whole new life yesterday for me.
Okay.
No Other Choice.
Ooh.
So for those, well, how would you guys know?
Right.
We predict each other's number 1. He predicted No Other Choice for me. So he's off the
I'm
gonna spoil a little bit of something. This doesn't matter to anyone except for me. If you watch the previous video, you know that I'm learning Korean. And so it's funny to me that in the year that I'm actually learning the language and stuff, Korea's not super represented on my best movies list. I did not do the Korea proud this year.
Right.
Messaged him like, are we watching No Other Choice? Because I actually felt like I was doing the motherland dirty. people hate when I call it the motherland because I'm Canadian, but I do it as a joke. But I also have deep respect for South Korea.
Exactly.
But like, I felt like I was doing Korea dirty because this is like the big Korean movie this year, right? So I was like, I gotta watch it, but I wasn't gonna watch it just in case it became like a top 10 if you hadn't seen it.
Right.
But then you were like, I'll watch it or whatever. I don't know if you did or not, but like, yeah, I like it. I mean, listen, 150 movies. This could be 31.
Right.
Or 35. That's still really good. I enjoyed it. It did what it did well. It was a good critique. I thought it took a little while to get going. I feel like it could have been trimmed. Another problem that we always talk about now because we apparently have like movie ADHD or something.
Yes.
But we're always complaining about length, and this was another 2-hour 20.
Yeah.
Where I could have been 2. And I think it would have been stronger because there's parts where it kind of repeats certain beats, like in its messaging, and I'm like, it wasn't really necessary, but it's a good movie. You know, I don't hate No Other Choice by any means. The Roses, the chemistry between Cumberbatch and Coleman was really what drove this for me. Like, it was really fun watching this marriage dissolve.
Right.
So that was good. That was
what a line.
That was an enjoyable movie. Wasn't always the funniest. Wasn't always the most emotional, but the dynamic, the chemistry between those two was fantastic. The threesome, it's a movie about people who have a threesome. Zoe Deutsch is in it.
Yeah. I
I love Zoe Deutsch. I always watch Zoe Deutsch movies just because Zoe Deutsch is in it. I gave her number 1 year, and maybe she never wins again. Maybe she does. But I love her. I love Zoe Deutsch. So the threesome was fun. I was invested in the characters. Yeah, Mickey 17, I won't say too much. I kind of feel like it's going to be on your list. It hasn't aged as well for me as I would have liked. Like when I first watched it, I was like, yeah, this is really good. And I'm like, it's still quite good. When it comes down to making the list, it's like, it's how you feel. And I just don't have that level of love for it.
Totally.
And I wanted to leave this one for last because it's like Captain America. We gotta have a talk. This movie didn't do well. Many don't like it. I don't think it's fantastic. I mean, the fact that it's not a top 20 and while being a superhero movie, a Captain America movie no less.
That almost makes it bad.
Yeah, that almost makes it bad, yeah. I still think, though, that people did it a little dirty.
Oh, yes.
Like, is it solid? Sure. Is there things that could have been done better? Of course. But the action was solid. Like, Mackie's a good actor.
Oh, yes.
And don't get me wrong, I don't even love him being the Captain America. I've been like sort of against it. Well, not in the way that some of these idiots are like, not my Captain America, Steve Rogers is the only... Like, it's not that.
The hashtags.
I just wanted him to kind of stay who he was and maybe either not have Captain America or, you know, Bucky or whoever. Like, I was more on that camp.
Yeah.
But people wanted to hate it so bad before it even came out.
Yeah.
It didn't have a chance. Like, I've had so many lengthy rants written down about this movie, regarding this movie, even for the mid-years, where I've just been like, you guys just doomed it to failure just with your negativity, and, like, you never gave it a shot. Now, some people did, and they just didn't like it, and that's fine. Like, I'm not painting everyone with the same brush.
Yeah, it's like, this rant is not for you if that's where you fell.
But I saw the conversations before the movie came out and after, and there was a lot of people that were just kind of idiotic about everything. Like they didn't like some stuff Anthony Mackie said, right? So they took that into the movie with them.
Sure.
And they never gave it a fair shot.
Yeah.
Fine. It's fine not to like it, but anyway, that's just my little... It's not as epic a rant because I don't remember everything now, and I'm not going to read through my notes just to rant about an honorable mention more than I have. But I do think that movie is like slightly better than people give it credit for.
Yeah.
Even critics who didn't go into it with that level of hatred, like some that I listened to really hated it, and every time they say that, I'm like, really? like, oh, this is garbage. I'm like, garbage?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this could have been so much better, and it should have been so much better, but I still enjoyed it, so whatever. Captain America, Brave New World.
Dun, dun.
But you were wrong about No Other Choice, and that's ultimately what we got to take from that.
That's really exactly. That's really the bullet point of this part of the video. Is I was
like obscenely wrong,
comically wrong.
like
No
like
choice.
Record-breakingly wrong.
I think so. Yeah.
Because usually if I'm remembering the data, you're usually pretty close.
Yeah.
Like, I think I think mine went I was like really close or right on, but then like off by like 15, and then I'd be like, and that's how. But you were always kind of close, so you smashed the record for being wrong. Unless my pick for him, which I guess we can say now. Might as well just get it over.
Sure.
Sinners.
Yeah.
Unless Sinners is off the list.
Right, unless
it's not even on it.
Sinners didn't even make it.
That's the only way you're going to be more wrong than me.
That would be so funny. All right, here we go. My number 30 best movie of 2025. You said you didn't want to give it too much of a rant. I'm going to give you an opportunity. My number 30 is Captain America: Brave New World. So here.
No, it's only 30, but the fact that it's on your list,
it made it. You mentioned kind of Anthony Mackie's sort of just him the fact that he is Captain America.
Yes.
His believability as Captain America is kind of a work in progress for me, but by the end of the movie, I felt like it kind of got there. And it wasn't that I was like, he shouldn't be, but I was just like, I wonder how this is. I want to give the movie the opportunity to kind of convince me, I guess, because I'm like, that's all it can do. Yeah. Like the movie, this is what this movie is for. Like, convince me that this guy is this character now. And it's still, again, kind of a work in progress, but ultimately I think it landed for me. I like political intrigue just as a concept, and actually using adamantium as the vehicle for that, I think is actually kind of cool. One thing that I think I kind of wish, well, first of all, the movie, I think, suffers maybe heavily from if you haven't watched X, Y, and Z, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
Because here's characters that you've never been introduced to before, unless you've watched Falcon and Winter Soldier, or unless you've watched that and this and this.
And this was the movie that actually explained the Eternals. What's the big thing?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is like one of the best shots in all of Marvel.
100%.
Of Celestial.
I feel like they kind of cut the fight with Red Hulk a little short. Which, honestly, I was like, this is a pretty good Marvel fight scene. It's kind of a shame that they're kind of...
And it's shot well.
It is.
Like, it's kind of pretty. I remember it being kind of pretty, too, where they land and stuff.
Absolutely. And so, I mean, it's one of those ones where it does feel, right from the jump, like it just feels different from other Marvel movies, whatever. Like, you're starting to feel where the shift into the current phase is going with the movie. And I certainly enjoyed it. I would have maybe liked it to be a bit better, but I still certainly enjoyed it. So I'm still going to give it my number 30 best movie of 2025, Captain America: Brave New World.
Well, that's the thing, because Captain America, I mean, I came around on the first movie, and I actually think that's a lot better than I originally gave it credit for. But even if I didn't do that, Captain America has a high standard. Winter Soldier, arguably the best MCU movie, to many people. Not many, but arguably it is. I think Civil War is awesome. One of the best. You talking about it brings me joy. And I was originally going to rewatch this, but then I was like, well, it's not really in contention for best movie, so I'm not going to bother. But I really wish I would have. Because I think it would have probably made my top 30. Because as you're talking, the love was coming in, and I was like, yeah. I maybe should have put that in the top 30. I should have rewatched it. There was two just little things about the story or whatever. I think it was I think Mackie said this. I think this was one of the things he said about, he's not going to take the super soldier serum because then it keeps him as kind of like one of us, he's just like a regular person. But it's he's Captain America.
Right.
He should take the super serum. Now, if during Doomsday he rolls up and is like, I got to take this super serum, then it fixes that issue.
Yes.
But if they keep him not having the super serum, I'm sorry, dude. Like, the one thing that kind of sucks about the movie is he's fighting a Hulk without super serum. And you know what I mean? It's like, it's a little much. We never really mentioned this, but there was a whole thing about the Avengers, because, like, you know, he's, like, the Avengers leader now.
Yes.
And then there's, like, the new Avengers. Spoiler. But, like, I would see people be like, oh, he's going to be the leader or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense for Captain America, I suppose, but maybe not this Captain America. But then I thought about it. Who else would it be? It's not going to be Doctor Strange. It's not going to be Spider-Man.
Right.
It's not going to be Thor. The Fantastic Four's got their own family going on.
They got
It's not going to be... Well, the Thunderbolts are the new Avengers. My problem with them is, like, I just kind of wish you would have stayed Falcon. My number 30, in a previous video, you asked if I saw this movie. It's Strange Harvest.
Oh, nice! Hooray!
I really dig, like, this mockumentary. Now, here's the thing. I'll get some bad out of the way. I think it has a bit of a pacing problem, because there is a point where it kind of just shows gruesome murders, and the detectives aren't really offering, like, a ton. So it's not a long movie, but I actually still think it could have been trimmed a bit.
Right.
To help. I love that they kind of threw in the cosmic horror aspects of it, because it really does lean into the Lovecraftian philosophy of, like, how the human mind can't handle the vastness of the cosmos,
Right.
and stuff, and like, I actually think that was really cool, and like you had said in a previous video, they did a really good job of being like one of those true crime, it's a mockumentary. If I heard of it, and they were just like, oh, it's just a mockumentary about a serial killer, I probably wouldn't have watched it, because I've been like, man, crappy horror movies are a dime a dozen. I'm not taking a chance.
Right.
But I knew there was like something a little off about it before I went in, and I was like, I'm interested. And I wasn't disappointed. This is a really good movie.
Yeah.
And, people should watch it. If they like horror, they like the true crime stuff. Like, yeah, maybe your mileage may vary on how the path it kind of ends up on.
Yeah.
Like when the girl's having like the seizure and all this shit's going on and stuff, and it's like, oh shit, the cosmic horror. What I thought it was. I actually love that kind of stuff. Like, I love taking like a real kind of situation, like, oh, there's a serial killer, and then throwing in this fucking off the wall shit. I love that. I love that. That movie was great. So yeah, my number 30 is Strange Harvest.
Oh, good. I'm so glad that that makes the list over Captain America. It's one of those, like, I want, like, give me more of this.
Yeah.
Right? There's so much good in the horror genre. There's so much schlock in the horror genre. Like, give me more of something like this.
Yeah.
Like, there's obviously still relatively unique ideas out there, and done by people that want to do a good job. My number 29 best movie of 2025 is Alex Sharfman's Death of a Unicorn. Starring your girl, Jenna Ortega, who you love. This was just more entertaining than I thought it was going to be going into it. And look, we all know capitalism is disgusting and knows no bounds. This movie tells us that even the unicorns aren't safe. I got grabbed by the really stellar cast here at the beginning, and like, shout out to Will Poulter, who just chews the scenery and is just like, you know what? Every line I have, I'm gonna deliver it with like the greatest delivery you've ever seen. And he just, every comedic point that Will Poulter has, every single one of them he hits.
He's good at that.
And he's just very good in a role that doesn't demand a whole lot, other than, man, when you hit those lines, you gotta hit them right. I don't really have a ton else to say about it. It's just, it's entertaining. I like the cast. It's gonna be too thin on thrills for some people, because I think some people are gonna go into this expecting it to be more thrilling, or more like kind of, there's jump scary or whatever, and it has its moments, but I think it's going to be a little too thin on those for some people, but it worked for me. I was entertained enough. It winds up number 29 on my top 30 of 2025.
Yeah, I had pretty high hopes for this. It didn't live up to that. I do enjoy it. I mean, I also like the cast. Obviously, you mentioned I love Jenna Ortega. She's a top 5, at least current actress of mine, even though I haven't really talked about her so much this year.
Right.
She will be talked about for years to come.
In some years. And I think this was my first Alex Sharfman anything, so I'll kind of keep an eye out now to
what else has he done?
Does next. I'm not sure. But I'm gonna. He's in just one of those names I'm gonna kind of put on the list to kind of keep an eye out for and go like, oh yeah, that's the death of a unicorn guy. I gotta watch that.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he does next based off of the strength of that.
Yeah, it was an alright movie.
Yeah.
So we'll go on to my number 29, right? And for this I'm going to read my criticker, but it's The Surfer.
Oh, okay. Yep.
This is a movie that appeals to me because what it's satirizing is something that I'm interested in, like the male female. Well, it's not really about female so much this movie, but like just like psychology of men, women, stuff like that. And this is like very much about men and like the red pill movement. Like it clearly satirizes the red pill movement.
Right.
So I mentioned that because my first part of my critical review kind of talks about this, but very quickly because it's got a limit, right? Or it did. Alright, the red pill movement sprinkles in some decent advice / psychological stuff for men, but then overloads it with a load of bullshit, desperately pleading for men lacking direction to take it seriously. This is a satire of that. But even without that, it's a good movie. I imagine this movie is what goes on in Cage's brain, the contrast between the serenity of a beach and the insanity unfolding within. It's shot very dreamlike, almost surreal. Cage is great, as Cage always is. Plot is intriguing the entire time, and the ending hits. Not the best, but really good Nicolas Cage movie, because he had his years where he did a lot of garbage. Although, that was overstated, because when I actually looked at the amount of years that he was just doing mostly garbage, he did usually sprinkle in like one good movie. It wasn't really that long, to be honest. And he still makes some garbage, but I think he's on a streak where like a lot of the movies he does are at least interesting. Like he had the one we both really liked last year, that one satire about the dream.
Dream Scenario.
Yeah, Dream Scenario. And I think The Surfer isn't Dream Scenario, but I think The Surfer was really entertaining. Again, Cage makes most things, at the very least, like worth watching, even if the movie sucks. You can still kind of just be like, yeah, but Cage is in there doing something. I don't always know what the hell it is, but he's doing something.
Yeah, Cage is definitely one of those that the movie itself doesn't have to be stellar, but he brings an intrigue to it that it may not otherwise have, because he's made his money, right? So now he's just like, now I'm just going to kind of do the projects that I'm passionate about, which is a great place to be if for any aspiring actors. That's where Nicolas Cage is what you want to get to.
Yeah.
Like you want to get to the point where it's just like, screw it, I just want to do the stuff I want to do.
There was this thing about Cage that I read many years ago, and I still don't know if it's actually true or if it's just people playing defense or him playing defense or whoever said it for Cage during a period where he was making a lot of bad movies.
Right.
Somebody had said that he just kind of like reads a script and then decides if it's trash or not and just acts accordingly. So that could just be a defense for everything bad. Like, well, no, he intended it to be. Like The Wicker Man, like everyone kind of loves but hates that movie because it's a garbage movie, but like you can't help but enjoy watching like Nicolas Cage go, not the bees, right?
My number 28 best movie of 2025 is, I'm going to answer it by doing this. Stop! My number 28 is The Luckiest Man in America. Paul Walter Hauser portraying Michael Larson, who in 1984 went on the televised game show Press Your Luck, and up to that point became the highest winning contestant on any televised game show in American history. So Michael Larson is a huckster, and what I loved so much about this movie is like, he's deluded himself into being much more positive about himself than I think the actual human that he is. Because again, he's not a good person. He's not a good person at all. But Paul Walter Hauser's portrayal of him is incredible, and he spends a lot of the movie getting to play back and forth with Walton Goggins. So that's pretty good. That's a nice combination there, and it's one of those movies that like, it looks the way it feels like it should look. And when I say that, I always use like Late Night with the Devil, right? Looks like it's supposed to look based on where it's set.
Yeah.
One of my favorite lines that anyone has ever said about this movie in particular is that scamming this game show was probably the most honest work that Michael Larson ever did in his entire life. Because like he comes on this game show basically as an unemployed like ice cream salesman, but he portrays himself as like, oh, I live in this place and I work in this. Like he's a pathological liar. He's a huckster. And he has just spent so much time watching this game show that he figured out the patterns, and they never changed. And it was like, well, we only have like... It kind of shows like the ineptitude of the people behind the game show as well. It's like, well, we only programmed 9 patterns. It's like, when was the last time you changed them? We never have. So they've just been the same 9 patterns. So as he's watched this show over and over again, he figured out the 9 patterns, and that's how he won so much money. And look, Paul Walter Hauser just had a very good year, and he's really, really good in this. This is probably his standout role since probably Richard Jewell, which is where he first got on my radar. So The Luckiest Man in America, my number 28.
I wish I would have watched this, but I didn't. So. Or did I?
Or did you? I think you would. If you did, I think you would have done it.
My number 28 is A House of Dynamite.
Ooh.
The new Catherine Bigelow movie, the important political statement of our time, which it's really not. But I mean, it's just spoiler. Nuclear war would be bad. That's what it says. But I'm actually okay. Like, I don't need, like, okay, sometimes it's just nice to be reminded. Yep. Especially when we live in pretty uncertain times. It's like, that's fine. I don't really got any beef. There's a very glaring flaw in this movie. Like, I gave it an 8 or 10 that would have, I considered dropping it to like, I already dropped it from, like, a 90 to an 80, and I thought I would drop it to a 75.
Ooh, wow.
It's kind of like a really glaring flaw in its narrative structure. Because it isn't just a linear, people do this, this, and this, and this. It's like one of those, we see it, and then we see it from someone else's perspective, then we see it from someone else's perspective, and it's getting really redundant. And you might see a little bit, but I actually thought that it really hurt this movie. But I couldn't bring myself to give it a 7.5 because it was also such a tense movie. Like, I was into it. It was scratching an itch, despite its massive flaw. I like these movies that take, like, a very... like specific instance and build like an entire ass movie around just like Eye in the Sky to me is like the gold standard of they had like one, I don't know if you remember that movie, but they had like one thing they had to decide.
Yes.
And I think it was I can't remember if it was like a drone strike or something in that movie.
I believe it was.
It was one thing and they spent the entire movie arguing about it. And I found it so enthralling. And like the first like 15 minutes of American Sniper where they just need to make that one decision whether to shoot the kid or whatever, right?
Right.
That was it, like if the rest of that movie was like that, it would have been one of the best movies that year, but it wasn't. Like, and House of Dynamite is again one of those things where it's just like we got one decision or whatever we got to make, and the whole movie is just about making this one decision.
Yeah.
You know, and that stuff like, if done well, can really, really appeal to me. Like, I saw people criticize, even though it had good performances, I saw them criticize the lack of character development throughout. And I can see their point, but to me, the event was the character, and the humans were just the pieces on the board being moved around by the immensity of this event. So I actually didn't need the character development. So... like, this movie kind of came and went, I think. I don't really think it amounted to much like some of her other movies have. Though, if it had fixed its narrative structure, I would have given this a 9 out of 10.
Right.
And it would have been significantly higher on my list. But I just, like, sometimes a conventional A to B is better.
Right.
You know, we don't always got to see things like... because it's just the overlap. Like, we watch something, it's tense as hell. Then it's like, all right, let's restart back here. Yeah. And we watch a little bit of what we've already seen, but then they might add, like, a little bit to the story. But it's not worth it. Like, it wasn't needed.
You know what movie has that exact same narrative structure as Weapons?
Yeah, well, that was the thing we talked... yeah, we remember us talking about that. It was like, maybe I don't love that narrative structure in general. Maybe I'm just a critic of it because... like, that's 2 movies this year where that's been one of my issues with it. A director that some consider the best female director working.
Yep.
You know?
She's certainly in that conversation, yeah.
So, I mean, it's not to the levels of some of her more known movies and stuff, but I still think it's worth a watch. I think it's on Netflix. So, watch it if you haven't.
My number 27 best movie of 2025 is Nuremberg. So this is Russell Crowe and his portrayal of Hermann Goering during the lead up to the proceedings of the Nuremberg trials. Insulated with a really talented supporting cast. Rami Malek is in there. Michael Shannon is in there. It's a really good supporting cast. I like the director of this, James Vanderbilt. Not Vanderbeek.
The name's so familiar, but what else did he do? I just keep asking you this, and then you're like,
there's something right on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of it. But he very much wanted to present this in an authentic way, and I think especially during the trials, he does so, because they're literally like popping in scenes from the actual trials, and it's like, oh, like it's pretty faithfully recreated. So there's a meticulousness in what he wanted to achieve there, which I think he succeeds in. There's also kind of a haphazardness, I think. He wants to draw the modern parallels, and it's not that they're not worth drawing, because they are, and I would never say that they're not worth drawing. But he goes so far, and actually it's funny, I watched this movie with my mother, and she disagreed with this, but he's almost to the point where he wants to hold your hand and go like, okay, now I want you to be thinking of the current president of the United States while you're watching this. I felt like there's certain lines of dialogue, and there's certain interactions, and there's certain whatever that I think he's very earnest in the way he's presenting that moment, that he just really badly wants you to draw those modern parallels. And again, it's not that they're not worth drawing. I think he's just earnest in wanting you to draw them, rather than like what I think is more impactful is like the genuine moments of epiphany when you're just like, oh, that there is a modern parallel there, that kind of whatever. And I think those are just more impactful, albeit to a smaller portion of the audience, because you're just kind of putting the content out there and hoping that it happens, rather than like earnestly like wanting the parallels to be drawn. And I just think he's a little more on that side of things. But that did not deter my enjoyment of this movie. I really thought Nuremberg was well done. It's one of those, it falls in that category of this movie is 2.5 hours. I didn't really feel the 150-minute runtime terribly, but it didn't lean on me too badly. It's still good enough that Nuremberg is my number 27 best movie of the year, and Russell Crowe's portrayal is, I mean, he sparkles in this movie. Like, he's really, as a really bad person, he does a really good job.
Sparkling. I don't love this movie. I kind of respect it more than I like it, but I gave it like a 6 or 10. But here's the thing. Not really for me. Like, I've been sick of World War II for a long time.
Yeah, so I remember you saying that years ago.
So it's not, like, because here's the thing, like, video games for a while was like all World War II, and I guess I just never really got over that. But that doesn't mean there hasn't been great World War II movies that I've seen or games I've played. It's not a selling point. At first, I outright rejected your criticism.
Yes.
But then I reread what I said, and I guess like it kind of unintentionally agrees with you a bit. There's a part that I love, even though it inflates the runtime, which is kind of a double-edged sword. Cause
right.
I do think it's a little too long, but whatever. Where you're watching the Nazi videos, like the actual videos, and maybe you've seen it, already before, but like the bulldozer and all this other stuff, right? And he makes you watch it.
Yeah.
Like, it is not, it's like, no, you're watching all of it. Like, it's not 30 seconds
right.
of like, oh, here's some atrocities, so here's some actual footage. It's like, no, here, you watch this, and it's minutes, and it's just like, jeez.
Yeah.
All right. But I liked how militant that was.
Yes.
And that is, I guess, I don't know if that's why you think it or anything, but I guess that could be said that maybe he is kind of taking you by the hand and being like, a little bit. But I really liked it for that, with that aspect of it. And people that would see a movie like this are probably smart enough to draw the lines themselves. Like, although I say that, and in my review I'm like, it boggles my mind how many people think that they wouldn't have been a Nazi if they were in Nazi Germany.
Right.
Like, it always boggles. I know I wouldn't have been a Nazi. Yeah, you probably would have.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you probably would have been. It's kind of important to remember that sometimes. And it's always important to remember how fascism is bad. My number 27 is going to be a short one, partially because it was so early in the year and I don't remember a ton, but also because I think you're going to talk about it later. 27, Presents.
Ah, yes.
it's important to remember that because I've seen so many movies, a movie might land at 27. You might think, well, I couldn't have liked it that much, but I did.
Yeah. It's like 27, but it came out in March.
Yeah. 150 movies, you know?
Right.
So...
It's arguably more impressive.
Yeah, like... I mean, I can understand why somebody wouldn't like this. I mean, these long first-person shots. You know, the acting can be a little wonky here and there, but, you know, it's okay. It takes place in, like, a house.
Yeah.
But, man, it worked. It worked. Like, at first it didn't. When I first was watching it, and I didn't really know exactly what was going on, like, with the presence being the character themselves. Like, and you just kind of watch, like, I think it's, like, just kind of going down the hall or going upstairs or something at the beginning. I can't remember the exact scene now, but I was just kind of like, why are we? Like, what kind of camera work? Like, this is pretentious. But then I'm like, oh, it's a ghost that we're watching. Be a ghost. Yeah. I'm like, all right, this makes sense. Yeah, like, the plot twists work, and the ending's great. Like, this is easily Soderbergh's best movie this year, even though it's a cheater. It's way better than Black Bag. It's not even close. Like, people are like, oh, Black Bag is so awesome, and don't talk about presents. It should be flipped.
Yeah. So now it's not just the inconsistency of Steven Soderbergh, it's the inconsistency of Steven Soderbergh viewers.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, Presents is a great, and is a great movie, or at least very good, if there's a difference. But it's not a horror. It's a drama.
Yeah.
And I think people need to know that going in, that it's probably labeled as a horror, and it probably sounds like one, like a ghost, like a...
Yeah, it's the way it's marketed.
Yeah, it's
marketed as like, there's something in this house. It's like, yeah, but it's not.
It's lingering and being sad. Like, it's not quite the same as, like, Paranormal Activity.
Right.
Where they go to bed at night, you're just like, oh.
Yeah. It's not like, okay, the darkness is when the bad thing happens.
Like, it's not that. So if you do decide to watch Presents after you see this video, then please know that it's not scary.
Right. My number 26, best movie of 2025, is the final movie that I actually watched this year, which is The Assessment.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
nice.
This is a debut director, I think, Fleur Fortuné, because I don't know that they've got any other directorial credits. I've never heard that name before. But I was sold when I saw the cast. Like, I really like Alicia Vikander and haven't seen her in a ton of things since, like, the things that I really loved her in years back. So it's not quite a three-person universe, but it's pretty darn close to it.
Yeah.
I like the world that they built there, even though kind of frustratingly they don't show you enough of it. Like it mines some territory that has been very well mined, which is like, you know, State Knows Best, World After Collapse. Like we've seen these constructs a lot, and there are moments where it kind of maybe pushes your suspension of disbelief. But man, Alicia Vikander just like owns the kind of craziness of what she's doing during the assessment. Like it obviously gets very strange, but I mean, she just really owns it in her performance. And then when the twist happens, the turn happens with her character, it just draws this immediate sympathy. And this, I think, kind of goes to show how much I really do like sci-fi, even whether the numbers really bear that out or not. I'm like, if this wasn't kind of like a sci-fi within a sci-fi construct, I might not have dug it quite as much, but like I say, I like kind of the world that's being built there. I think the performances are excellent, and I was a little surprised by just how much I wound up liking this. As time goes on, this is a movie that I think could go either way for me. I either never think about it again, or it grows on me. And I'm not 100% sure which way I'm going to go with it. But as of right now, it sits as my number 26 best movie of 2025.
I had both Elizabeth Olsen and Vikander in my best actresses. I took them out, but I had Elizabeth Olsen as a backup. And mostly that's because, like, I have a real bias towards Elizabeth Olsen. Like, I don't get to talk about her as much as I would like. But I remember, like, when I had a website, I put her in my top 5 current actresses. And, like, I really, 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 really like Elizabeth Olsen, and that's the main reason I watched this.
Yeah.
That's a movie I'm going to liken to a classic by Ingmar Bergman, Autumn Sonata, where, like, the 2 actresses were so phenomenal in that movie that it's, like, I say that it's maybe the best, like, 1-2 punch in female acting. It's not this level, obviously, but it was awesome. I had some issues with the pacing. Mostly it's like, it's pretty slow, gets a little repetitive, probably didn't need to see every single day.
Right.
Because it doesn't offer much, so, like, the script is intelligent, though not always entertaining. But I do like it, and I'm glad you saw it. I mean, I reacted in a way. Like, I was like, oh, you watched The Assessment. Wasn't really what I was expecting it to be. Like, the last movie I watched, I had to get The Assessment.
Right.
Alright, so moving on to my number 26. It's EFIS.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think you saw EFIS. Great.
You urged me to.
Yeah, I know, but still.
Okay, so here's the thing. Like, I saw it pop up a lot, and people liked it, but I was like, I don't.
Like, really, the baseball movie?
I'm like, I don't know if I need to see this. And then when you're kind of like, you should watch this, I was like, all right, well, I like watched it right away.
Nice.
So I actually say in my review here that I'm glad that my friend urged me to watch, or I'm glad I was urged to watch it. In my review for 2017's A Ghost Story, I said, before I knew it, I realized it was subtly fucking me up. And I wasn't fucked up by this movie in the same way, but I think that it's on a spectrum like this. It sounds kind of like an insult in a way. Has the pacing of a baseball game, right?
Yeah.
Like, it kind of like starts off kind of cozy, and it's like you said before, it's just like it's the whole game. They start getting a little tired, a little more hostile. Then it starts, darkness like descends upon them, and they literally use cars to light it up, which is actually like probably the most symbolic gesture, while also being kind of funny in like the whole movie. This kind of touched me on a personal level, though. So, like, not just because I do kind of miss playing sports with you guys, like, because we played sports a lot, like, not like full games and stuff, but like always hockey. Used to just kind of hit balls for baseball and stuff, but we always used to like play sports. But it reminds me of the movie awards that you are currently watching. Because me and you do it every year. Like, they play their baseball.
Yeah.
And at first it's like, yeah, and then you start getting to the end and it gets a little sad.
Yeah.
It may not show on video, but I know we both kind of feel like, damn, it's coming to an end. So, like, as I'm watching it, and I'm kind of like, it kind of reminds me of the movie awards, right?
We're getting awfully meta here now. I love it.
Do I think this movie's hilarious? No. But I find it charming.
Yes.
Right? And that was enough to get me through this movie where nothing really happens. You're just watching them play baseball, and it's all like it's MLB. There's downtime where sometimes they're making fun of each other. Sometimes they're arguing.
Yeah.
Right? I don't even know that you get the feeling that they're all best friends, as kind of like evidenced later on when someone says something about hanging out and the one guy's like very non-committal.
Yeah.
But the men shared something special here. I remember a basketball tournament I was in when I was younger, and me and my friend went, and we were on a different team, and I don't remember really anything about the people I was on the team with.
Right.
But I remember the experience. I remember one aspect of how we interacted, but I remember the experience really fondly. And I feel like that's kind of this movie. Like, I'm probably not going to remember the individual characters, but I always remember the way they kind of felt while watching it, right? And I'm like, and I'm not going to say that I'm like, I sat there and I bawled.
Very slowly gets it gets its tendrils into you, right?
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, the movie was really good at that. So I think this is a movie that ages well for me as time goes on too. I think in years I'll look back pretty fondly on this. It might even be one of our like picks we redo.
Yeah.
When we do the retrospective, like I might look at this and be like, well, maybe I could have put this higher, but I don't know. That's hard. That's a hard call to make. But I do. I'm fond of this movie, but it's like a hard sell to people too.
It is.
But yeah.
Do you get what I mean when I say Carson Lund does his best Richard Linklater impression? Does this not feel like a Richard Linklater movie?
Yeah.
It really does. And like I love Richard Linklater, right?
It's like a good slice of life. I mean, Linklater had a movie this year, Blue Moon. It does feel like, even feels like it, because it is really just people talking.
Yeah.
There's not really much happening. It is pretty Linklater, and I'm not a massive Linklater guy, but I think this is a good version of Linklater. Not to be reductive and say he copied him or anything.
No.
Because Linklater's not the only person to do this kind of thing. But.
No, exactly. We now enter our champagne picks for the 12th Justin and Tyler Movie Awards, our 25th Best Movies of 2025. I will start with a movie I'm fond of using the phrase chewing my food twice.
Yes, you are.
At this point, I am chewing the same food for about the 12th time, so I will be very brief in my effluvial praise for Seven Veils. Adam McGowan's been horny since the 90s. There's no stopping him now.
Playing the hits here.
Playing the hits. Amanda Seyfried is driven and has an incredible performance. I love the meta contexts of this movie where, like, so much of, like, portions of what's happening on stage during the movie is Amanda Seyfried filming it from Adam McGowan's actual stage production of the show production they were putting on. I've talked about this movie a bunch, so I won't take up a lot of time. Go back and watch the mid-years. Do it now. Seven Veils, tremendous. I dig Adam McGowan stuff more often than not. I dig Amanda Seyfried stuff almost every single time. Even something like, what was it? The Mamma Mia movies. I'm like, she's the best part of those movies. Seven Veils is my champagne pick, my number 25.
Yeah, I didn't really see it. I'm pretty sure this was like one of those movies where I got about 10 minutes in and was like, it's not that I thought it was bad. I just I don't think this is.
It's got to be something. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this is for me. So I'm not gonna sit there because I know I would just sit there being like maybe I would have got really into it, but I might have just sat there and been like, okay, I just kind of want it to be over because I'm forcing myself to watch. So I don't got anything good or bad to say about it.
I do think it's a movie that at some point probably commands that I watch it a second time.
Yeah.
Because it does get better and more difficult to watch as it goes along.
This is going to be really short because I'd be very surprised if you've seen this, and it's not really that super well received or anything, but it's Demon City. This like Japanese revenge flick.
I've heard the title.
I'm a simple man, alright? This has a bunch of elements I adore. Guy's family gets killed. He goes on a revenge tour.
Right.
As long as you do that and give me some good action that isn't just people standing in place shooting, it's lazy, but I always just go back to John Wick, right? Because it's a perfect example of like inspired choreography.
Yeah.
This obviously isn't John Wick, but as long as you give me fight scenes that are choreographed well, that don't always, they're not just boring, they go in interesting directions. Maybe add some emotional like oomph to it, which this does. Not like it's it's whatever, but. And then it has villains and masks, which I don't know what this says about me, but I just like that. This is just like one of those, I guess, subgenres, just revenge action movies that are like, I just enjoy.
Yeah.
But it's nothing substantial. Like I'm not gonna remember the movie.
Right. My number 24 best movie of 2025 is Companion, done by Drew Hancock, I think was the director, who I don't believe has really ever directed anything else of substance, but I really liked Companion. In the pantheon of horror-tinged movies about AI, I'll probably take this one over most of them, because I feel like it actually kind of has valid things to say in that conversation. Doesn't pander to a bunch of crazy jump scares. It's kind of a well-balanced breakfast of everything, because there's commentary on the AI questions, there's human drama, there's some action in it, there's, I just kind of feel like it touches the bases that it needs to touch, without, again, pandering to Like, there are some jump scare moments in it, but it doesn't pander to, like, the lazy ones. The one thing that I will say, and in any subsequent conversations about movies about AI, I continue to yearn for the film equivalent. I've said this to you before. The film equivalent of the episode of Star Trek The Next Generation called Measure of a Man. Because I feel like that was, like, one of the best sci-fi representations I've ever seen. So I'm yearning for the cinematic equivalent of that, which we haven't quite got yet, but Companion is probably the closest that I've seen to that. So we'll go ahead and we'll take Companion as number 24.
Yeah, and I can't remember the actress's name, but I had her in my nominations for Best Actress of the Year. It's
Okay.
just, it was so early in the year, like, a recency thing for me, right? Like, it's a good performance. That was a good movie. So, good pick. My number 24 is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Nice.
I don't think this is as good as the last couple movies or whatever, but I'm kind of wondering if it's also just a case of diminishing returns. Because here's the thing, right? I love the first Mission Impossible, though it was completely different. I didn't really... I mean, I kind of like the second one. I didn't actually like the third one. Then it kind of went away for a little bit.
Right.
Then it came back with, I think, Ghost Protocol. And for like 1 or 2 or 3 movies, I was like, wow, yeah, look at this. And now it's like, it is kind of more of the same. You're going to get some fun action, some cool stunts, Tom Cruise running.
Yeah.
You're not going to understand the plot because it doesn't matter.
It's convoluted
Right.
slop. It does not matter.
It doesn't, who gives a shit? The more time you spend trying to figure it out, the less fun you're having.
Yes. Oh, that is such a good way to describe that. You're 100% right.
So, like, and I enjoy, like, I do find it a little long, but I do enjoy the reverence it has for its history and its callbacks and how it plays with earlier events. I don't feel the same love for the, like, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, like, I came out of this being like, I love it. Because I don't feel the same love for the franchise anymore. But I still really enjoy them. But I am okay with it being done. Like, all right, it's time to put it to bed.
After, 20 some years.
Yeah, and a lot of, like, because it went so action heavy, though it does lean in sometimes to the more, like, sci-fi, or not sci-fi, but spy kind of low-key, like, of-ness of the first one where there's no action. Like, it does have a little bit more of that now than it did for a bit, but it still has a ton of action. But they're really good action movies, but it is time.
Yeah.
So...
I'm going to call this a partial consensus because The Final Reckoning is my number 23. So we're just going to go right back into talking about it again. I didn't have Doomsday Cultists on my Mission Impossible bingo card, for sure. They talked fairly heavily about like the spreading of misinformation and so there's modern parallels to kind of grab and look at it. I want to shout out Captain Bledsoe, the captain of the submarine that he gets on, with having the line of the movie where he just looks at Ethan and he just goes, "If you want to poke the bear, oh, you came to the right man." Like, oh, that is the line of the movie. I loved that. Serious lack of Vanessa Kirby in the movie, but at the very least there is Nick Offerman, so I'll take that as a trade. I don't know whether you agree with this or not, but this, I think, is the first Mission Impossible movie that I've seen where it's not like Ethan is feckless, but a lot of this movie is spent with stuff happening to Ethan rather than Ethan doing stuff.
I mean, I could see it.
I mean, I guess you'd have to sort of sit down and I guess...
I mean, it makes sense, though, because the entity is like a villain that's just like a computer.
Yeah, like
right?
it's an omnipresent...
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So it makes sense that like things would just kind of happen to him.
Right.
Right? Because you're not really going to beat that. It's going to be hard to beat that.
Right. I hesitate to say helpless, but it's like, boy, the movie's going to end right here if he doesn't get saved. And he gets saved, obviously, and the movie continues. I think there were a couple of moments like that in this movie where I was just like, again, he's not feckless and ineffectual or anything like that. I was just like, there's a little bit, maybe more of that than I was sort of expecting to see. in the movie, which again does not make the movie bad.
It's
Obviously,
good. It shows he's kind of out of his depth a little bit, right?
Right.
Which makes sense for like a final movie to kind of play with that, right?
yeah, and it's got all the like big set pieces and action beats and back at you double swerve subterfuge that you kind of have come to expect from, again, how convoluted these movies have become over the last few entries. But I think it's a relatively fitting ending to what's been a pretty good franchise of movies.
It has. It has been really good.
Yeah. So yeah, his number 24, my number 23, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, which is going to put it back on you for your number 23.
All right, listen. We're going to talk about, for my number 23, we're going to talk about Sinners.
Wow.
So, all right, let's get the bad out of the way. I knocked this down, 5 points out of 100 from a 90. It's an 85, by the way.
Yeah.
That's
How
crazy.
terrible, right?
Right. I know I rate higher than some people, but still, I don't care. I don't think the second half is as strong. I actually think the vampire stuff, it's fine, but in contrast to the rest of it, I actually kind of felt it was like almost a little rushed. And there was like a scene at the end when he goes to kind of get his revenge, I just thought was like super rushed, and I was like, this was kind of like corny a little bit. But I just didn't feel the satisfaction that I should have.
Yeah.
But I only knocked it down 5 points from like amazing to great. Because I think that Coogler, like all his other movies, he handles social commentary and whatnot exceptionally well.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even got to agree or disagree with what he's saying. I mean, I would agree, given the time period, like, of what he's trying to say there.
Right.
He does handle it well. And the emphasis on music, I mean, the acting, of course, great across the board, but obviously especially Jordan. Yeah, I guess that's really it. Sinners is a great movie, but when I was making my list, I was like looking at all the movies I had rated around the same or higher, and I just realized like there were just a bunch of movies that I just enjoy more. Just like I would like if you're like, what movies are you gonna rewatch? Like the ones above this, I'd probably just rewatch sooner than I would Sinners. Although maybe in like later years I might feel differently, but that's just whatever. Sinners is a great movie.
Yeah.
I just don't have it as like top 5.
My number 22 best movie of 2025 is Tim Travers in the Time Traveler's Paradox. So once again, the little sci-fi comedy that could, and again, just a very funny movie and something that like it handles the elements of sci-fi and the elements of comedy in such a way that they work together. They don't actively fight against each other. Like sometimes you have these people who like, I want to do a multi-genre kind of thing, and the genres kind of clash and they just kind of don't work together. And I mean, look, this is a semi-rare combination. Like I don't think there's a ton of sci-fi comedies, more now than there had been in the past, but I still don't feel like there's a ton. Is less concerned about kind of the minutia of the science than it is with like the situational comedy and the situational comedy and the charisma of, I want to say the lead, but really he's the leads. Two other points I want to make about Tim Travers. It's, again, punches well above its weight class production wise.
Yeah.
I think it gets a lot out of what I think looks like it was a relatively small production budget. It definitely looks like it was not a small production budget, but I believe it somewhat was. And that even as its core ideas expand, because we have these moments where like the Tim Travers character is clearly a genius. So he has these moments of like scientific like inspiration and like, oh, this if we did this can work this way. And as the core ideas kind of expand, it still remains a tight vision. Like it somehow stays on the rails even kind of as those parts of it expand. And I feel like it's made by people that love their vision almost as much as the Tim Travers character loves himself, which I think is really cool. So Tim Travers in the Time Traveler's Paradox, my number 22 best movie of 2025.
Yeah, so when it comes to sci-fi and the actual science, I don't
really care about the actual science in most sci-fi movies too much because it's like a fictional movie. Like it's nice when it's like grounded a little bit, and like obviously in some real science because you kind of have to. But
Yes.
we're not like there's a difference between soft sci-fi and hard sci-fi, right? Like if you want to be like a hard sci-fi, then you better come like you better be like, well, I've never actually seen this, but people say that like Contact is like really scientifically I've never seen it, but like a movie like that from many years ago now. And I especially don't care when it comes to time travel because it's like, as far as we know, we've never done it. Right. So there's theories and whatever, and you try to like be kind of consistent, whatever. But I don't care, man. As long as it's fun, which this movie is. That's the main point.
Yeah.
It doesn't bury itself trying to get too caught up in that. It's just like, no, we're here to have a good time, and then you have a good time.
Also, shout out to Stimson Sneed, the director, and Samuel Dunning, who plays Tim Travers, for both liking my Letterboxd review of your movie.
My number 22 is Fight or Flight. I don't know if Josh Hartnett will ever reach the levels of mainstream attention that he once had, but I kind of wish he would. Like this was what, last year or the year before I kind of revealed that I'm kind of low key been a big fan of his. Like I always like whenever I see him, I'm like, I want to see him more again. I enjoyed the time when he was in a bunch of stuff. And kind of gory, exciting action movie. There's a part where, you know, he runs around with a chainsaw on a plane, and that's incredibly satisfying.
True.
There's not a lot to delve into with this movie. Just Hartnett yucks it up and kills people, and that was enough for me. This was a really fun movie.
Bullet Train in 2025.
Yeah. Josh Hartnett needs to come back, like big time. Although it kind of looks like he's coming back a little bit.
A little bit, because he had that side role in Oppenheimer.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
so I think he is kind of bringing it back.
I mean, he was in the M. Night Shyamalan movie. That like I didn't necessarily love that movie, but I really liked his performance. I don't know how that movie did, but I mean the fact he was in that movie was nice. Like, let's get him back into the mainstream in a big way.
We're starting the Josh Hartnett fan club crusade.
Any movie where he kind of gets to be, I mean, he's capable of more, but any movie where he kind of just gets to be cool and yuck it up is like a lot of fun. He's like one of those actors. Yeah. But he can do other stuff too and has done other stuff. But yeah, Fight or Flight is my number 22.
And the final two picks of this video before we head into part 2 and the next one. Our number 21, best movies of 2025. And we're going to start with mine, and it is Bong Joon-ho's Mickey 17. So this was, look, and I said this right from the jump this year when I watched it. It took me like 40 minutes to get into the movie. It was really treading water up until they actually introduced the multiples aspect.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson is excellent in this movie. He's really good. He was one of the more difficult cuts for my best actors this year because I just really thought he did an excellent job. One part of the movie that has aged with me like milk is I was a bigger fan of the combination of Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette early.
Yeah.
And then the more I've kind of interacted with it, like in clips or stuff will show up on TikTok or whatever, I'm just like, the more I see it, the more ham-fisted it feels, right? So it's I guess maybe it had a better impact when I actually watched the movie the first time along. There is a subtle art to unsubtle filmmaking. There's nothing subtle about the themes or the messaging in Mickey 17. There's no subtlety to it at all. As an audience member, it essentially grabs you by the collar and just paintbrush slaps you with its messaging, which is totally fine. Like you know, somewhat militant messaging is totally fine.
Militant.
But there's no subtlety to it whatsoever. And I still think the messaging in this movie is done well, and again, I think Robert Pattinson's really good. So, Mickey 17, my number 21, and that finishes me up for the video.
My number 21 is Train Dreams. There's a very, very slow burn that just kind of creeps on you. Not really a lot happens. The guy's kind of existing. He finds something great. That great thing is taken from him. Then he exists only sadder. And as I said in the other video, I think when I was talking about Edgerton himself, it's like that's reductive. That's essentially what happens. it becomes like, even though not much is really happening, it feels authentic, and it's a great meditation on grief. And to be honest, I blame Edgerton for that, because that man is so sympathetic and such an underrated actor. As I said in the Best Actors, one of the better actors working today. And more people need to talk about my boyfriend. And also watch Train Dreams, because, you know, like, if you're into that kind of movie, just a slow drama, then that's probably one of the better ones this year, and it'll make you feel some stuff.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, you're dead inside.
There you have it, folks. Mickey 17 and Train Dreams are number 21, and I only highlight that because it is the last pick of this video. So there goes our number 30 through number 21 of our best movies of 2025, including some honorable mentions that didn't quite make the list. On the next video, we break into our top 20 movies, 20 through 11 of the best movies of 2025, veering ever closer to the top 10 and the number 1. My prediction is up in smoke. His prediction still very firmly on the board. Is it going to work out? You'll just have to find out. Come back. We'll see you again for the top 20 before we head into the top 10. See, I almost lost it there.
But you
I
didn't.
brought it back on the rails.